The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office released a new report today on the issue of the budget deficit. And in a nutshell, it's hit a new record low under Obama. It was $483 billion, but now it's $468 billion. It came in less than what was expected, so it's a cut of another $15 billion. So let's stop and review the facts again real fast. Remember that when President Obama came into office, he inherited a $1.4 trillion deficit and a subprime mortgage crisis and a great recession. And now he's more than cut that deficit in half. Now, on the jobs front, as we've discussed in the past, there's also been a net creation of 11.2 million private sector jobs under Obama. That's compared to a net loss of 646,000 private sector jobs under Bush. So again, the inevitable conclusion from anybody who's looking at the data and the data alone is that if President Obama had an R in front of his name, the right-wingers would already be screaming for his name to be put on stamps, for airports to be named after him, to put his name on currency, and to do all this other goofy stuff. Because according to their own criteria, according to the things that they say they care about the most, he's been a fantastic president. Now, again, if you want to criticize Obama from a progressive perspective, that makes perfect sense because in many ways he's not done things that progressives want him to do. I mean, one area is the deficit. So the deficit's falling rapidly, but if you talk to a lot of Keynesian economists and if you talk to a lot of MMT economists, they'll tell you that's not even necessarily a good thing because the way the economy is right now and the way the middle class is struggling right now, you actually need more stimulus. Also, when it comes to the issue of income inequality, when it comes to the issue of the stock market is absolutely soaring, but any progressive will tell you, myself included, that the stock market is not a true indication of how the country is doing, of how your average person is doing. It's a better indication of how the rich are doing. And when it comes to government jobs, for example, any progressive would want to invest in infrastructure, do jobs programs, do green technology programs, and essentially do a New Deal. But if you look at Obama's job record when it comes to the public sector, he's actually cut hundreds of thousands of jobs. So there are plenty of legitimate criticisms of Obama and his record, but those legitimate criticisms are from the left. Those legitimate criticisms are from a progressive point of view. If you're criticizing Obama from a conservative perspective, you simply don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because your standards for things that you want to see a president accomplish, you want to see a robust private sector, check. That's what President Obama has delivered on. There's been, again, over 10 million jobs created in that sector. You want to see the deficit fall, check. You want to see the stock market soar, check. And then I haven't even brought up the different foreign policy aspects of President Obama that these guys should love. I mean, Guantanamo Bay is still open. They loved that under Bush. They should love that under Obama. The NSA, spying on everybody. We hate that, but a lot of conservatives love that under Bush. They should love it under Obama. When it comes to drone strikes and foreign wars, we're engaged in combat in 6 different countries. I hate that. Progressives hate that. Libertarians hate that. But the neocons should love that. But again, there's no credit where credit is due in their eyes simply because of the fact that he has a D in front of his name and because it's not their man. He's not in their tribe. So therefore, anything he does, you slam. I mean, we've seen this time and time again where Obama will propose a piece of legislation that originally was proposed by Republicans in the 1990s, and now all of a sudden the Republicans act like they're against the things that they proposed. I mean, just to give one example, Obama did over a dozen small business tax cuts in his first term alone. Obama made about 90% of the Bush tax cuts permanent. Now, these are things that if a Republican did either one of those, again, they would be cheerleading and they'd be saying how great it is. His healthcare plan, Obamacare, that's a plan that's basically copied from Richard Nixon and then Bob Dole and then the Heritage Foundation, a right-wing think tank, which codified this in policy papers where they laid out exactly what the individual mandate is and how that's their counterplan to Clinton Care, which was a more government-centered plan. So you have Obama proposing something that Chuck Grassley supported in the 1990s, Newt Gingrich supported in the 1990s. House Republicans were all over it. They loved it. But now, since he proposed it, again, they're screaming about it and they hate it. So you sit back and watch. I dare you to turn on Fox News. I dare you to turn on any conservative outlet you want. There will not be a peep today about the fact that the deficit is rapidly falling. Why? Because if they discuss that, they'd have to then give Obama credit on an issue that they supposedly care about a lot, and they won't do that.